baby. Let's go. All right, we are all packed up and ready to head out to Paradise Acres. Before we get on the main highway, we do need to fill up the tank with some gas, get some dish soap, which I don't have, and some extra ice for the cooler. All right, we made it. So let's see if we can find us a good spot that's got some shade, some level ground, good drainage. Let's go explore and see what we're working with here.
As I pulled through the gate, I had the familiar sense of hope. A new place, a weekend in the wild, just me, Bailey, and the good Lord out here. The listing said there'd be water, a creek, a pond, and I figured we'd find the perfect little spot to call home for the next couple of days. But as I drove around, something started to feel a little off. The grass was higher than expected. Trees looked a little rough, like a storm had rolled through not long ago. I kept telling myself, give it a chance, keep looking. There's got to be a good spot around here somewhere. But deep down, I started to wonder, did I pick the wrong place? Still, I've learned, even in the places that don't meet our expectations, God can show up in unexpected ways.
But as you can see, the grass is kind of laid down where it looks like maybe the creek overflowed with recent heavy rains. And then the creek is actually right back here, which is flowing well. It's a pretty little creek. I just don't feel like this would be the best spot for us tonight. Well, the little creek side was a bust. And that's so disappointing. It was such a nice little creek, but there is one other camper staying here, it looks like, and I don't want to stay too close to them. They're at the biggest tank or pond on the property, but there's another little smaller pond up here that I may be able to just kind of camp next to, see if I can find a good spot. Okay, so I found a spot that's close to this little pond up here. It's flat, it's level. When I got out, there's a little bit of a breeze, but the pond is just kind of covered in this scum film, and it's not as aesthetically pleasing as I'd like it to be for a camp. That's the pond out there, and as you can see, it's not very pleasing. So gotta admit, I'm a little disappointed right now. The owner, when I corresponded with him, I asked if there's a place to camp on the creek. He said yes, and I'm not finding it. Have you ever gotten to camp and it wasn't quite what you were expecting? Well, that's what happened to me today. But we're going to go ahead and see if we can't just pivot a little bit and make the best out of this trip. All right, everybody, I kind of wanted to just show you what I've come up with so far. Here's the campsite. There's the tent right there, and I set up a just kind of a makeshift tarp next to it because it is supposed to rain. I just wanted a place to put my gear and keep it dry in case it does rain, and we'll see how that works. So right now, after getting the tent set up, I just need a drink of water and just kind of sit here in the shade and just kind of relax a little bit, set a game plan for the rest of the day. Well, you know, sometimes things don't go as you plan. That's pretty much how life goes. So I think this is just a good reminder for me to slow down, breathe, and stay in the moment. So you know what? I'm going to make the most out of this camping experience, and I'm going to enjoy it, and Bailey and I are going to have a great time. Sitting down, relaxing, enjoying the Steel Reserve brew. I don't know if you saw the Frothy Friday or not. That video will go up before this one. But it's just a reminder. You need to slow down and just be present for whatever it is that life is throwing at you or that God's trying to show you. Just listen. Take good water. Get some water. Leave it. Want to go again? All right, it's time to start the fire. See if we can get rid of some of these bugs. One of the key things you can do is also, once the fire gets going, put some wet wood on it or greenery, and that will help it produce enough smoke to thwart the bugs. Right now the wind's picked up as well, which is a huge bonus because it's starting to get a little hot. You want to have the perfect shots, you want to have the perfect everything. That's just not how things go. And I think that God reminded me today that, you know, just be in the peace. Though it may not have started out perfect, I am enjoying the peace and the tranquility of being out here, spending some time with Bailey, and just getting away from the noise. All in all, it's a win. Well, we definitely had a change in weather. It has dropped significantly since the sun has gone behind the clouds. There's the pond behind me there, but I'm okay with it. I'm starting to settle in and kind of fit the moment. Sorry if the wind is bad, but man, it feels good. The wind feels good. So just going to enjoy this, walking with Bailey for a little bit, and maybe start dinner. This is what happens when you get your mind right and you just settle into the moment and take what life throws at you and make something good of it. All right, it is dinner time and I am excited. And I apologize for the wind if it's bad, but I'm excited about dinner tonight because I made a brisket last weekend and we chopped it up and froze part of it so we could have sandwiches. And that's what I have here. And I'm super excited because I think I have enough for 2 sandwiches. So pretty excited. Basically gonna heat this up and let the fat render down and make it juicy. And I also bought some barbecue sauce, or brought some barbecue sauce rather, and I will use that to moisten it up and make sure it's just good and flavorful. So that's our plan for dinner. Smell-o-vision, just look at that goodness in there. Chopped brisket. It's even better than Buc-ee's, y'all. Oh yeah. I think we're hot enough. We're just gonna pour in some of this original Terry Black's barbecue sauce. Mix it up real good. And that'll make for a really delicious sandwich. Or 2. A little bit more sauce. Look at that, y'all. Chopped brisket sandwich. Don't get much better than that. That barbecue sauce does it just right. And it's just as good today as it was when I made it last Saturday. I'm gonna tear this up. Ooh, I gotta feed Bailey too. Well, that was a good dinner. And it's gonna be a good night. Bailey and I are kind of settled down by the fire for now, having a Sprite. Those 2 beef sandwiches, chopped brisket sandwiches, man, you just can't beat those. Those are so good. Got the fire smoking, smoldering a little bit, getting rid of some bugs. I'll add some more wood here in a second. That's basically what I've got left for tonight, but that'll help us out. But I got a pretty decent view here. Just ready to chill out and relax. Well, as you can hear from the bugs and the crickets and the frogs and everything else, it's bedtime. So I'm gonna lay down. It's probably about 77 degrees right now. There's a little bit of a breeze, which is helpful, but I'm beat. So I'm gonna lay down, call it a night, and I'll see y'all in the morning. Well, good morning. We didn't sleep too bad last night. It got cooled down enough that I was able to cover up with like a sheet and sleep pretty comfortably. I woke up once in the middle of the night. The frogs and the insects out here were just extremely loud. But once my brain kind of processed it as really just white noise, I was able to go right back to sleep. So overall, good night. Like I said, making the best out of something that was started off as a little discouraging. But I've got my coffee this morning, and we're just going to sit out here, enjoy the nice cool breeze and the sunrise, sip some coffee. Bailey found a friend. The friend seems friendly. You're not going to believe the coolest thing happened. So I heard this. I was talking on the phone to my wife, normal morning stuff, and I was starting to prep for making breakfast, and I heard this goat bleating, right, like, meh. Well, I turned around and looked. It's not a goat. Bailey was playing with a little baby deer. They were nose to nose with each other. Bailey wasn't holding any aggression towards it, but I could not get my camera out in time to capture it. And man, I tell you what, that was the coolest thing to see. I mean, that baby deer was no bigger than Bailey. I mean, it was unbelievable. Didn't know where the mama deer was, but really, really cool to see that. I wish I could have got it on camera for you guys, but alas. Bailey's playing hard to get, y'all. He's a real sweet dog. They're just playing, and he's even being sweet to Bailey. Breakfast of champions, a little bacon and egg. And I'll tell y'all, bacon grease on eggs, that's a kicker for me. If they're not made that way, they just don't taste as good. A lot of people put milk in their eggs, things like that. I don't do any of that. Simple. Season them to taste. Cook your bacon first. Get it good and brown. Well, it's a good breakfast, y'all. So here's the question. When things don't go your way, you arrive to a campsite, let me know in the comments what you do or what you would have done. Would you have tried to make the best out of it? Or would you have tried to just kind of find something else, which that was an option on the table, but I chose to stay. Has it ever happened to you? So I'm just curious to know. Put in the comments and let me know what you guys think. I don't know very much about flowers at all, but if any of you could let me know what these are, let me know in the comments. They're really pretty. Just wanting attention. Just wanting attention. Yeah, you're just wanting some attention. My goodness. Just continue on this walk here. I tell you, for it being June, in the middle of June, there are some really cool looking wildflowers out here. I just showed y'all a blue one. I have no idea what it is. Hopefully somebody can let me know in the comments, but yeah, we're just out walking where we can. Some of the places where I drove the Jeep yesterday, it mashed the grass down. So we're trying to stick to that area because I am in shorts. Just a general tip for anybody, if you're hiking in tall grass and you want to avoid ticks or red bugs, don't do what I'm doing. Don't hike in shorts. But we're just going with the flow today. She really knows how to cool off. She's just laying in the creek like she don't have a care in the world. Yuck. All right, I think Bailey and I are about to go just do some exploring some of the trails. It's starting to get to be that hot, muggy time of the day. So if we see anything cool or find anything cool, we'll definitely bring you along. But we're just gonna kill some time and
even a short drive through the back roads reminds me, God's presence isn't just at the campsite, it's everywhere the wheels take us.
all right, we're back from town, and I went and I picked up a couple of things, which I'll show you in a second. But I really wanted to give y'all a better view of what the camp setup is like, and then also how I changed my tarp setup. Okay, so as you can see, my tent, and you can see now that the tarp is attached to the bed rack of the Gladiator, and the way I did that is using these little magnets here. There's 5 or 6 of them total, and I just used them to attach and they're very strong. I use them to attach the one end of the tarp to the bed rack, and then I attach them to these poles down here. And we've got the tarp all set up. Tailgate's ready for cooking when I'm ready to do that. And then we're still out of the way for the weather. So I went to the dollar store and I picked up a citronella candle because the flies are just really bad out here. But I'm guessing it's because of all the rain. They're looking for that moisture or whatnot. But anyway, I got that. I got some bug spray, and I also picked up some extra flea and tick spray for Bailey. That way she doesn't run the risk of getting any more ticks or anything like that. It's a little bit breezy, so as you can see my candle just blew out, but that's okay. The breeze keeps the bugs away, So tonight when it's calmer, I'll be able to light that and probably be able to kind of cook in peace. So I think we're just gonna relax a little bit right now. It started sprinkling just a tiny bit earlier. I mean, just a few drops. I could hear it hitting the tarp, and when I walked out from under the tarp, it was a little bit, you could feel raindrops. But I could hear thunder way off in the distance earlier, so not really sure what the weather holds. But at any rate, we're making the best of it. So looking forward to cooking some dinner tonight. I definitely hear some thunder and rumbling way off in the distance. And honestly, that may bring some cooler temps. It's not supposed to be as low tonight as it was last night. Last night was like 71 was the low. I think tonight's 75. So we'll see if those few degrees make a difference in my comfort level while sleeping. Well, it's come a nice afternoon shower, and if I'm looking at my thermometer right, it's dropped down to 79 degrees. And it does feel nice under the tarp. A little bit of rain never hurt anybody. We're dry and cozy under here, and the dogs are taking a nap. I say dogs plural, because remember that friend that Bailey picked up this morning? Well, when she heard Bailey and I were back, or he rather, came running over. So I'm just gonna sit out here and enjoy this nature quiet time. Well, thunderstorms are out, the sun is out, and it's dinner time. It's about 5:30 right now, and as you can see, I have some very nice looking pork chops on the grill. Seems like the last few camps I've done chicken, and so I wanted to be a little bit different and do some pork chops. And you guys know I love some pork chops. If you watch any of my cooking videos, you know how great they turn out. So we're gonna let these go for a little bit, and I've got some cheating a little bit. I think it's canned red beans and rice that I'm gonna have with these, but it'll taste fantastic. Okay guys, here's a fun update. The pork chops are done. I've wrapped them in tinfoil, they're resting, but I don't know what I did with my can opener. It's missing from my kit. So it's gonna be hard to open these, but never fear. I'm going to attempt to do it like Boy Scout style. Okay, so I have this old like Leatherman type tool that has a can opener on it. So we're just gonna attempt to do this like the old fashioned way. and see if I can figure out how to do it. Okay, I think that kind of works. I think you just gotta okay, dinner side saved. All right, y'all. Got the red beans and rice on. I don't have any Tabasco with me, which is also a fail, but hey, nothing little Tony Chachere's can't fix, right? Had just enough heat in there for it. Should taste really good with those pork chops. And the real star of the show, Bailey there, has already had her dinner, so she's quite happy. But I'm getting hungry. So about every aspect of this trip, there's been something that went awry or didn't go as planned, from just arriving here and setting up and finding a spot to not bringing something as simple as my can opener. But we're making the most of it, and the trip's turned out to be okay. It's not spectacular, not what I wanted, but you know what? Yeah, I'm rolling with it. All right, now we're gonna see if this food is tasting as good as it looks. So let's say grace. Amen. Let's dig in. Smells good, I can tell you that. A little tougher than I cook them at home, but they were thicker. The flavor is definitely there. Got some red beans and rice. Actually, for canned red beans and rice, it's not that bad. All right, guys, I'm gonna sit here and enjoy my meal. Welcome back to Faith and Firepits. Tonight's going to be a little bit different just because if you've been watching the video so far, you know that the trip really hasn't gone as planned. The creek, I didn't have access like I thought I was going to have. Didn't have a good spot next to a pond. I've got this little spot here. I had to pivot more than I wanted to, and I had to adapt. But all in all, I still find peace out here. And I think sometimes it's important for us to realize that we don't always find peace in perfection. And there's never been more of a realization of that point than it has been on this journey this weekend. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." And sometimes that stillness and that realization comes in the silence. And that's where I'm at right now. So I'm just going to let go of what I thought this trip should be. And I've really enjoyed it for what it was. So if you're new to the channel and this is new to you, make sure you subscribe, because we're just getting started. This Faith and Firepits thing, it speaks to me, and I think right now I'm doing it more for myself than anything else, because it's at these times where I know I need that message, and it helps me reflect. And so if this resonates with you, let me know in the comments. If you need me to pray for you, let me know in the comments. But until the next Faith and Firepits, I'll be waiting for you right here by the fire. winding down for the night. And I tell you, the fire really helped to calm my soul a little bit. So I think we're just gonna relax out by the fire and enjoy the nature sounds, because that's where it's at. All right, y'all, that does it for me tonight. I'm turning it in, I'm calling it. So I will check in with y'all in the morning. Good night. Morning, guys. I got my coffee here. I'll tell you a little bit about last night. We still have our friend at camp. I have no idea what this little guy's name is, but he stayed out here all night with us. I didn't let him in the tent. He acted like he wanted to get in the tent last night, but I thought for sure he'd wander back across the road to his house, but he never did. He slept right next to the tent and kind of watched us all night. So he's a good little guy. So the trip didn't go as I planned. I was looking for perfection. As I get into this YouTube stuff, I'm like, man, I just want to find that perfect campsite, have this perfect scenario. And this weekend taught me that that doesn't always exist. I mean, sometimes you'll stumble upon and get some lucky sites. But I've also learned something else. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't find peace in perfection. I had to pivot a lot more than I wanted to on this trip. I was really disappointed that the creek access wasn't what I thought it would be, and the pond access, I mean, was the greatest. I mean, you can see behind me it's overgrown with weeds and all kinds of vegetation, but we still made the most out of it. Bailey made her friend. You know, we wouldn't have done that had I not stayed. And I've got some great shots. I was able to film a Frothy Friday in the heat, and I was able to do a Faith and Firepits segment that really spoke from the heart. And so I think that we got some good footage, and overall, I'm pleased with the trip. Now, for Paradise Acres, I guess the real question is, would I come back? I don't think so. I think that whenever I'm searching for a campsite, particularly if I'm out by myself or dispersed camping, I want something that feels very, very secluded. And this one is not as secluded as I'd like it to be. That, and it just didn't live up to my expectations. But we made the most out of it. I think this place has some potential if it gets cleaned up. But beyond that, you know, let me know what you guys think. When you go camping somewhere, if you like dispersed camping, do you like to get away from the crowds, or do you prefer campground camping where you're kind of up there and you still got some people around? I just prefer to be secluded as much as possible. But at any rate, it was a good weekend to slow down and reconnect and have God speak to me, and that happened. One of the things I wanted to mention too is this is being filmed over Father's Day weekend. So for all the dads out there that show up and they stay, they have that leadership and they're men of God and they're faithful, thank you. I wouldn't be the man I am today had it not been for my own father, who has consistently shown me how to be a dad. And so as I wrap up camp here and head down back to the house to see my dad, and for my kids to see my kids, I hope that all the dads out there had a happy Father's Day. I guess really there's not much more left to do than enjoy the rest of this coffee and pack up camp. Remember, guys, if you haven't subscribed already, check and see if you're subscribed now. Please subscribe. I just rolled over 500 subscribers a week or two ago, and man, that made me feel really good that 500 of you are like, hey, you know what? Let's subscribe and see what this dude's doing from week to week. So I appreciate it. And make sure you click that like button and subscribe now. And then I've posed a few questions throughout this video. I'd love to see you guys engage in the comments. YouTube's algorithm relies heavily on those likes and those comments. So please make sure that you interact in the video. It helps push this video out more into a bigger audience. So I would appreciate it if you did that, because you never know, somebody may need to see this video. I mean, I needed this weekend for my own self reflection, and I'm sure it may help some other people as well. So I'm just going to finish this cup of coffee, and then I'm going to pack up, and I'll get with you guys again before I hit the road. All right, guys, we had a fun adventure. Even though it didn't go exactly as I planned, we still had a good time and made the most out of it. But Bailey's exhausted, I'm exhausted. We have to say goodbye to our new friend here. And until next time, I hope to see you down the trail or around the campfire. Don't forget to like and subscribe.